because you had to have the weird fucking captions around it.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah.
No, that didn't work.
You have a space in there between the caption and the caret.
You need a space?
No, you don't need a space.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. So that's over 50. Okay, got it. That is a bit wonky, but we'll look into it as time goes on, I guess. Try and get that done. Well, let's kick off. Fox wasn't here for the last one, and we're missing Dino and Zelphus, which is fine. We built this to be a little bit sort of modular in terms of people. But why don't we do what we always do, a good old-fashioned recap.
Not to be confused with a nightcap.
That's true. Although there's nothing wrong with either.
No.
So, what? Just what? What happened? Well,
that was pretty much how the entire last session was.
There's a lot of questions we had, yeah. So there was a bear attack, presumably, or rather, not presumably. There was a body found on a side road. Pizza delivery guy, as we found out. Does anyone remember his name? Maybe matters, maybe doesn't.
Crap. Pretty crap. I don't even actually have that pulled up. But I do have his name.
Ah.
His name would be Pete Weathers.
And does anyone remember how he died?
Very violently.
Yeah. His torso had been completely torn open, and his insides were shredded. Although something was like eating them, seemed to be. So we interviewed a few people. Bit of interrogation work. Pete's car was also stolen, although whether it was a joyride or whether it was the perpetrator, we don't know. We might have ideas. But his, show you on the map. Pete was found at the blue square there, and the car was over here at the yellow mess. There has been for the last week a series of cattle mutilations, or murders, or whatever you want to call that.
Yep.
What else do we know? There's Brian Duddy was one of the people we interviewed. He's a bit of a drunk. He works at the water reclamation plant here. Also interviewed Sean Mannerly, I believe, who he just had a pizza earlier in the night. So we interviewed him. We learned about some white powder on the pizza boxes. You never know, guys. That could be a plot point. We focused a lot on it. You never know. We also know about Miss Willsborough. She's the resident crazy cat lady. She's across from Mr. Rieger, Jeremy Rieger, I believe.
Yes.
Jeremy Rieger's our current lead.
Well, not so much a lead anymore.
And why is that, Baron?
Because he's potentially dead as hell.
Yeah. So we went to Rieger's house.
Gunshot to the side of the head's fatal, but that's normally not always.
And you know what I'm really interested is both you and Dino wrote down in their notes, might be dead.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stories of people who do it wrong. Either they blow off the top of their scalp, because it ricocheted off their skull or what have you.
Yep. So what we found is we went to Rieger's house because that's where the first couple sort of cattle mutilations were found and sort of reported in. And Rieger's an interesting guy. Does anyone remember what the town was saying about him? We've spoke to a few people about him. There's
that
some rumors going
somehow
about him.
came in. Yeah, somehow he came into money, whether it be through illicit means or what have you, and came into town, bought up a sizable plot of land, and then kind of barricaded himself in it.
Yeah, and people
Wasn't he allegedly fleeing from the mob?
that's what some people think, or
Something?
that he was a deserter or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we went to Rieger's estate, if you will. Origami checked out the barn, only to discover it's full of butchered cattle. 30 or so cows, I believe. Sorry,
Milking
20
goats.
cows worth. And then, of course, they did find a key in the barn, which I again, I gotta say, it's interesting. Both Bard and Dino noted that is an interesting place to find a key. It is. They
Well,
went,
especially because you said that it wasn't like just like hung up on a nail or something. You said it was like tucked up against the wall
yeah,
or something along those
it
lines.
was, yeah, because Origami got a very good perception roll there. And then we opened the door to Rieger's place to find him splaying out. Gunshot wound to the head, presumably dead. There is a gun on a pizza box.
Oh, I thought it was in the pizza box.
Well,
Like,
it
the
is.
pizza box was
It
open.
is. Yeah, the pizza box is open. You're correct. Why don't we just take a little bit of a closer look here? Yeah. How's that for production quality? So
I mean, you didn't take as much time as I did on my test.
no, I used to. I mean, I showed you some old pictures. I used to spend hours and hours making maps, but I just I would rather spend more time making a an open world branching story and just having very bare bones graphics, if you will. And we are going to slowly, add to it as time goes on. We'll have character tokens, which is what we normally end up doing. It's just I'm not rushing into all that. Much as this time, I'm not rushing into everyone having their character fully developed from day one. We're going to slowly figure out who our characters are because the characters already kind of know each other. We don't need to go into it knowing that because you know each other well enough. We just need to find out their sort of deeper motivations as time passes. Now, we do have a little bit of not retconning per se, but a little bit of work to do here. So, do people have names for their characters first off, so that I could update that on my end?
Mine already had a name.
Right, you are Richard Stanley Alexander. Yep. Everyone just calls you Stanley.
Stan.
Stan?
Yep.
Would you prefer Stan the Stanley?
It's kind of up to them. If you introduce yourself as Stanley, then they can shorten it to Stan as they become more comfortable with you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We have Jack was our intern. Did we ever get a last name, Origami?
Origami, you mute
Grim.
bitch.
Oh, Jack Grimm. Okay.
Oh, so someone might get that reference.
Not me. I'm not a weeb. Just kidding. Did we ever get the name for our researcher or our professor? Sorry.
Not yet.
That's all right. You don't have to come up with one right away.
All right.
But if you do think of one, just let me know.
I was thinking about just picking a complicated German name just to mess with you, but.
Oh, okay, that could be fun. Oh, I like that.
So what's your name? Backfivengeschichte.
Well, so the professor, he's retired, as most of us know. He is actually German. It's not just Magetti that's German. The professor is as well. And do you want to explain to the group that whole sort of backstory there?
Yeah, sure. Let me just pull it up. So he came to the US with his parents in the 60s. His parents also have a academic background. Not sure why his parents came to the US. Maybe some research shenanigans. they had to do over here. He still has ties to a lot of people at universities all around the world because he's an archaeologist, especially Germany because his parents used to live there.
So pretty useful guy.
Yeah.
To have if you go traveling for sure. Cool. Well, I mean that's good. We have someone that speaks German. It's always useful to have multiple languages. I forget if we have anyone else who speaks another language. We have maybe the doctor. The doctor knows Latin, of course, and our intern speaks Spanish and Russian. It's kind of neat. I guess that's pretty useful if you're hoping to be FBI in, the States. Spanish being, well, Russian. Obviously, you got to hunt out some spies. Although I suppose that's more like the, not the IRS, but the CIA. Is that what it is? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Spanish. There's a large Spanish population in the States, so. But so here we are. We have a body. This is our man. This is who we originally thought was going to be the culprit. He's presumably dead. Oh right, I was going to say. So we have to figure out. Fox is joining us with her. What was the polite way of putting it again? Conspiracy theorist. A cult blogger. Or a cult blogger. Now, how could we spin that? So, I mean, this is sort of the beginning of day 2 of the investigation. So it's not hard to say that, the sheriff could go and grab somebody who might have more knowledge on this kind of stuff. I think maybe an easy way of doing this is the professor also has some interest in the occult, or at least old civilizations and their mythology, which hand in hand with the occult, right? To an extent. So maybe we could say the professor thought there might be some sort of ritualistic significance to the way that the pizza boy died, Pete Weathers. And so he's invited potentially a student of his at one point, Fox's character. What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty good to me. Because again, we're in a small town. Everyone's trying to work together for the greater good here. So that would make sense. The sheriff is maybe sleeping in today because he was up all night, right? Maybe he pulled like a 24-hour shift or something. So he's sleeping in, and everyone else has shown up. Fox is here as well. And we are staring at a body, and our doctor isn't here to perform an autopsy. So do we have anyone with forensics?
Probably not.
I'm pretty sure Origami does. He's pretty up and coming and academic.
Yes, I have forensics.
Give us a roll, buddy. Now, the other interesting thing about this Jesus, that's a fail.
Well,
shit.
I mean, like, hang on.
Borrowed with the 10.
You want to see it fail? Oh!
Nice. 10% chance, and he nails it. All right.
Well, never mind then. Okay.
So the
cussing at you early, but I guess not.
So the bright city boy who's come down here for his internship gets pushed aside by the park ranger and says, "I've seen a body or two in my time." All right. So the interesting thing about Rieger is not just that we thought he was going to be sort of the culprit here, and he's found dead. There's a gun off to his side, which presumably was the weapon that killed him, if it wasn't suicide. The interesting thing is his blood was very, very dry. You know what I mean? And we were arguing or discussing rather what that would look like. But it's sort of thick and corn syrupy, and and mostly drying at this point.
Hmm.
Is that correct? Yeah. So, I'm going to say you pulled that out of your ass. I'm just going to give you how long he's been dead. Yeah. I just need to, unfortunately, believe it or not, my notes are written in a very me way, so. So he's been dead. Today is what? It was the 16th
Today,
yesterday in game. It is now the
no, it was
17th.
16th today in game because we started at 4 a.m.
Oh, that's true, right. So it's the 16th. So he's been dead for
yeah, we're at the tail end of the 16th.
for 4 days now. You can estimate he's probably dead on the 12th.
Crispy.
Now, does that raise any alarms for anybody?
Well, the blood shouldn't be completely solid, and falling into nothing that quick, I don't think.
Okay.
Blood stays gooey for quite a while, depending on the humidity.
Okay. And this is sort of why it's good to sort of jog everyone's memory as we go back and remember. But Miss Willsboro, the neighbor, said she heard a loud noise on the 12th coming from Rieger's house. She went to investigate, and then he came out, sort of brushed by her and said he couldn't chat because there was a family emergency. Just throwing that out there.
Question. We never really covered it, but is Mrs. Willsboro's eyesight failing?
Ah,
She's kind of older.
she is older. I'll say her eyesight probably isn't the best. Now, it was middle of the day when she went, so it's not like she was dealing with like night sight or anything. But yeah, it could have been that she made a mistake because she was expecting Rieger. That's quite a fair, sort of thought.
Presumptions.
And there was one other thing in this room that was immediately interesting to everybody. And it's not all the boxes piled up on the side. It was on the table.
I didn't write that down.
2 huge bags of white
Oh, the
powder.
powder.
Yeah. And Origami
Ah,
immediately
powder.
ran for it. And you're like, nope, we're checking the body first. So, Origami, you want to give us another forensics and maybe dust a place for prints or try and figure out who, what, when, where, why, and all that kind of cool stuff? Maybe show off that you're not just some sort of, prissy city boy. There you go. That's pretty good, man. I'll give you actually a critical roll for that. So,
I think that might be copyrighted.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, I'll give you. I'll give you a beep. But no. So there are none of Rieger's fingerprints. Because you can
Wait, you mean he doesn't have fingerprints?
No, he does. But you can easily match his fingerprints to things in his house.
Okay.
But his fingerprints are not on the gun or the bags of powder. Now, one of the bags of powder is open. You would need a chemistry roll to figure that one out. I don't know if we have anyone proficient in chemistry.
Wait, what do you mean chemistry roll? Whether my forensic kit has a drug test, like a quick one?
I think that's reasonable. Does anyone else think that's because this is a very studious intern?
I suppose. Although, what would chemistry be under? Would that be?
I mean, it's
science, formal science.
You could say it's either physical or medical if it's a drug, right? I think that would be a fair argument. Like I said, those are just broad categories. I'm well open to arguing about it all the time.
Yeah, because I have a snowball's chance in hell on physical science, but
you can go for it, sure. But
I'll go
Origami,
for it if Origami completely flubs it.
Yeah, you know what? I'll say that if it was like a street drug, you would be able to determine it with the forensics roll. Okay, I think that. Holy shit.
I knew
Not
what it
only does he
was.
know what it is, he's done it quite recently.
Holy shit, dude. That's
my
impressive.
breakfast.
You okay? Well, I was gonna, I was gonna say that you didn't know what it is, but no, change of plans here.
Change
So,
plans, kiddo.
so it's definitely a form of street drug, but it's a variation you haven't seen before. It appears to you, because again you have an incredible role there, that it has very hallucinogenic properties. It's probably partially a sedative, and it would most likely make somebody, sort of consuming it or coming in contact with it very sort of susceptible to persuasion, very open to sort of influence, if you will. But it's not like a standard street drug.
So I found Molly.
That, not exactly Molly, but yeah, he definitely found something similar. His veins. And again, you got a good forensics roll. It's not in Rieger's veins, mostly because he's bled out. But
Exsanguination's a bitch.
yeah, it's rough for sure. Again, Rieger's fingerprints are not on the bags, which could be, gloves and all that.
Can I check the powder on the pizzas to see if they're the same?
Like on the boxes of the pizza?
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have a pizza ball. Oh, there's one on the floor there, I guess. Yeah, okay. Go. Yeah, you can do that. Do I need to? I was gonna say I don't even know if I need to make you roll for that, because like you'd just be comparing it. But then how big would your kit be? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we say you have to like send it to the lab or something, and you'll hear back in like 2 hours or something.
Fair enough.
I think that would be reasonable, because otherwise, But so you want to see if the paint powder from the pizza box is the same as the bags of drugs in this guy's house. I'm just checking.
Yes, because we don't know if someone's trying to make the town a bit crazy.
Okay, cool. So let's say after we finish examining this room, because forensics and examining stuff takes time. You've got like the police tape around it. We'll say you'll get a call back when you're sort of done with like the house or something. So yes, this is sort of like an open room, as you can see. There's a whole bunch of sort of boxes on the right-hand side or the east wall. And again, we have the body, we have the drugs, the table, and the gun. Then we have a kitchen.
What's in the boxes?
What's in the boxes? Good question. They're all from the same company. Toil Snacks. I'll spell that out for you. And just going through the boxes. Give me like a perception check, unless you want to spend an hour going through every box, or if you want to dump it out, because they mostly seem to be pre-packaged pastries, like things like Twinkies or flakies, stuff like that. Oh, holy borrowed! You're rolling nuts today. I'm scared. This is borrowed. That means the bad stuff is gonna happen soon, right?
Oh yeah.
When you need it, exactly. Well, going through these Toil Snacks, you start finding some weird stuff hidden amongst all the pastries.
Yeah, boy.
Would you like? I didn't expect fucking good rolls from you guys. I thought you were literally gonna resort to
good rolls from me.
I never do. I was expecting you guys to just start dumping everything on the ground.
Well, I don't know. Like snack cakes. Like, what the fuck kind of speciality you need to look for snack cakes?
Well, you're looking through them. But yes, so we have I'll just write that down for you. We have an old film reel. There's no projector to be seen in the house. And we have 3 VHS tapes, dated sort of 10 plus years ago. And you find in sort of 2 pieces a KS-23 shotgun, and there's 4 4-gauge slugs in a different box.
Question.
Okay.
How in the hell? Actually, no, I can't. I shouldn't phrase it like that first. Are you trying to imply that these shells go in the KSG?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll go back to my first question. How in the hell does he have a KSG, that fucking polymer shotgun, firing 4-gauge?
The KS-23 does fire 4-gauge. It's that one I was talking about the other day. I was reading about it. It's very cool.
Oh, okay, my bad. I thought you said KSG.
No,
which is...
KS-23. No.
Okay, yeah. The KSG is the the side-by-side double barrel pump action.
Now,
And like that thing's made out of a lot of polymer.
Inside, like sort of on the shotgun, there is a weird language sort of scrawled on the side of it. And then on the back of the weird language along barrel, and then on the back of the grip for the hand, there is the range of the shotgun.
Right, so we said there was 4 4-gauge shells?
There's 4 4-gauge slugs, yeah.
Okay. Slugs even. Okay.
Oh yeah, they're slugs. Yeah, they're not like buckshot or anything.
No, wait.
Can we determine the language?
Oh, that's cool. Well, we would need someone who's good at a social science of some kind. Preferably, like what's be like anthropology. You would know that.
I got 80 on social science, archaeology being specialty.
Okay, so you get to roll 80, and if it was about archaeology, then you could add an extra 20 to it, so it'd be 100 basically. So you're pretty much guaranteed if it's about archaeology, you can like 100% the roll. Not exactly, it's like 99, but yeah.
Wait, that was no, I'm stupid.
I mean that if you convert that into D100, it's pretty bad.
All right, here we go.
Oh, that's much better. Okay, so you do recognize it. It is actually an old language. It's not a modern one, but it sort of has been adapted. It's actually written in Coptic, but the modern interpretation is sort of Arabic, if you will. The Coptic was the language of like ancient Egypt and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coptic jars is where they stuck your organs.
Mm-hmm. Well, it used to be sort of a Christian ish heresy, I believe. But,
well, I mean, if you go far enough back in Christianity, everything's a heresy.
Oh, if you go far enough back, there's only like one kind of religion for most of, Europe and Africa and Asia, but then things got split up. You also found a paper. That's the last thing you found in these boxes. And again, these are split amongst, there's probably 50 boxes here, and these are split amongst them. The paper is a few sort of documents, and it's a It gives like a list of times and hotel rooms, as well as sort of a name, which is Rick Gruber.
Now, are these times like check-in, check-out times, or just like 11 a.m., 11:02 a.m., like just jotted down times?
They are check-in times. There's no checkout times, and they're all dated for the future.
Hmm.
Now, the cool thing is we are in modern day, so it's a lot, it's not like your characters have to go back and sit down at the office and crunch a whole bunch of numbers and call the newspapers and stuff. You're free to use all the information that the internet provides.
Neat.
Which is always good because it means we don't have to like leave the scene to do a lot of our investigating. Like an old, like when you play in 1920s and you're like, okay, I have to go to the library again and get out like the old like scrolling machine for the newspapers. Yeah.
Can we translate what's written on the shotgun?
Okay. I'll say that.
Because it is odd finding Coptic language on a
That's true.
Is it a Russian shotgun?
It is a Russian shotgun, yes.
Awfully far from home.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you. What do you guys think? Should we make that an occult roll? Because it's written in like an old religious text? Or should we make that like an archaeology roll, but like sort of like not give him 100% on it, like maybe take like 30% off his archaeology? Because it's obviously difficult. It's not like
I would say occult because it is from a religion.
okay.
Occult plus
Language
archaeology
from a
divided by 2.
religion? I'd say archaeology, but that's just me.
Yeah, you know what? I'm down with that, Borrowed. We'll do that. We'll take your occult and your archaeology, smash them together, divide by 2, so that gives you 75%. Yeah. Oh, nice. So it appears to be like a protection of evil sort of chant. It has a word in it that does not have an English translation. And I will give you this is gonna be like you got to roll really good here, but if you can roll like half your social science, so you got a 40% chance. I'll give you what language that is from. The one word. Okay. Well, it's all right. You did pretty good there. You did pretty good. So, but anyway, it's sort of this protective right. It's sort of saying like guide these arrows, which obviously not exactly translation, right? Or rather transferable, but guide these arrows true against the foe. And then this word.
Interesting.
Now, do we have anyone here that would be considered a computer wizard?
Probably me because I'm an intern. I just graduated from college.
That's fair. So
I
if you want to
imagine
give me
Stan's most like
well,
most experience with computers to be playing like Tetris.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're kind of a Bob. You're kind of a Bob. I would also say that our occult blogger, Fox's character, probably
Oh yeah,
probably
Fox
decent.
actually should be more. All right, Fox, you do the first roll.
All right, Fox, we're gonna ask you for an intelligence roll here, and if you make it, you can find out a translation or at least a language for this word, depending how good you roll here.
I don't know how to do the rolling.
Okay, that's fair.
There's a little dice D20 shape
Oh.
on the top left. There's a little like arrow, paintbrush, yada yada. There's a D20. If you click on that, it pops up a submenu, and that has the dice roller in it. And in there, it will have the advanced option, and you will have roll 1. Click the drop down. You have D100.
And do you have your character sheet, Fox?
Yeah,
Okay. So you know what your
Right.
intelligence is, yeah?
I can look it up.
That's all right. But
If I didn't explain that too fast.
I think you were good.
So I just leave it on 1 and D100.
Yep.
And then hit the roll button.
Nice. So if you tell us what your intelligence is, I mean, I can check it. I know what it is, but it's just so you get in the habit.
Is it 75?
It is. Yep. So you made it. The foe or the foe, the word that is the foe in the context is Weichuga or Weichuge is another way of saying that.
Ooga chaka, ooga chaka.
So the actual sentence in Coptic is this, and because you got a 40, which is just about, well, give me one more intelligence roll, and then if you make this one, I can tell you what language it was originally from. Good enough. It's a Native American language. So it's sort of it has an iteration in most Native American tribes. Specifically, I can't remember, but let's just go ahead and say, which area are you guys from? Kind of Mohawk area, right? Cherokee, somewhere around the northern states there.
Not super familiar with the tribe locations.
And that's okay. Like, it's not super important, but let's go ahead and say it's a Cherokee word. Sure,
I
I'll
know
trigger
the
somebody
local
at some
tribes
point,
here
but
in Washington, but that's not saying
in our universe, it's Cherokee.
much.
That's right. And in the universe of Sleepy Pines.
All right.
So what an interesting collection of items, huh?
Indeed.
Group thoughts. Sort of
Can I Google what is? Wait, do we know what a Wachaga is?
which I mean, your characters could Google it in universe. So yeah, that's fair. If you would like to Google it and explain to the group origami, I'm fine with that. Now remember, the actual thing and the myth of the thing might be very different if we are dealing with such a beast in this universe. But
My question is Rieger even, like, does he have the?
oh no, he's left the room. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but like, does he have the physicality to fire a 4-gauge shotgun without getting blown onto his ass?
He's a beefcake, yeah. It looks like he may have been a soldier at some point. It's you don't know if he was a soldier. It's not like he has like dog tags, but when you see someone, you're like, holy shit! Like either that guy like works out a bunch, or like he
eats
like he was in a
steroids and
boot
shits
camp.
protein powder.
Mhm.
I actually don't see anything uncool at all.
Oh,
Mm-mm. Nope.
really? Eh?
Nope.
Interesting.
Did you get the spelling right?
I don't know. I liked how it sounded.
So I'm just guessing it's a Native American monster.
It's like a boogeyman. But well, actually, Borrowed was explaining the story of the Wendigo, if you recall. Similar to a Wendigo, but it's sort of hypothesized to be like a beast that grows too big, almost like a beast that becomes like primal, if you will. Like sort of resorts to those old ways and gets bigger and bigger and doesn't stop growing, and sort of starts murdering people because as it consumes them, it becomes bigger and stronger and smarter. But it is sort of again like a boogeyman type idea. Usually thought to be like sort of summoned out of like people did wrong and this has happened, but not always. Again, it's just some sort of forest creature.
The Weichuge is how it says it's pronounced on Wikipedia.
Hey, there you go.
Is a creature appearing in the legends of the Athabascan people, who are Native Americans native to Canada, not the United States.
Well, you're in northern states, it's in Canada.
Yeah. In Beaver, Danezaw mythology, it's said to be a person who has been possessed or overwhelmed by the power of one of the ancient giant animal spirits. Not related to the psychosis with the similar Wendigo, but more related to becoming too strong. These giant animals were crafty, intelligent, and powerful, and somehow retained their power despite being transformed into normal-sized animals of the present day.
Sounds pretty cool. How do you spell Athabasca? Do you mind? You just posted in Roll20.
Mostly how it sounds, but yes.
Okay, well, I wrote how it sounds, and oh, yeah, perfect. So there we go. It's not Cherokee, it's Athabascan. I forgot. My apologies.
I know this way back, but can I take the bag of drugs?
Yeah, for sure. There's a bag that's open and a closed bag. You're taking the closed one?
The closed bag and even the open bag for
to the lab and stuff,
analysis. Yep.
The rest of the folklore around it is a bit odd by what they mean for becoming too strong.
Okay.
The Danezaw believed that one could become a Wachuge by breaking a taboo and becoming quote-unquote too strong. Examples of these taboos include a person having a photo taken with a flash, listening to music made with a stretched string or hide, hence guitar music, or eating meat with fly eggs in it. Like the Wendigo, the Weichuge seeks to eat people, attempting to lure them away from their fellows by cunning. In one folktale, it's made of ice and very strong, and is only killed by being thrown on a campfire and kept there overnight until it has melted.
Interesting.
That sounds kind of like a Yeti.
Yeah, it is kind of. It's like a Canadian Yeti.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So we kill it by campfire.
Wow. Now I have to ask you guys a question. All right, this is a question I always love to spring in one of these campaigns. Let's talk about your characters. Would you consider your character a skeptic or more, what's a good way of putting it? Open? Weichuge, thank you. Would you consider it more like open to the idea that this supernatural stuff could be real? You know what I mean?
I would say my character is mostly due to his backstory, but yes.
Okay, which I'd love to hear at some point. So he's...
I say my character is open-minded because he just came still in college. So
That's true. Yeah, they experiment a lot. Ouija. So sorry, Bart. You said your character is
would be
open-minded.
Yep.
Okay, cool. What do you think about you, McGetty?
Yeah, I was about to say. He's probably a bit skeptic because he's heard a lot of ancient
Oh yeah, a lot
mythology
of
and
Egyptian
stuff, and
curses and stuff. Yeah.
and it's quite familiar, I
That's
guess.
reasonable.
And
So
he's comes from an academic background. He's probably more skeptic, I guess.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Seeks more scientific explanations, I guess.
And what do you think about your character, Fox?
Definitely believes in that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure believesinThatStuff.com is owned by your character. At some point, the group's gonna get like found out because they're blogging every.
People should trying to get other people to believe in it too.
Yeah, they've got like a YouTube channel. They're just like, "Hey guys, at a crime scene, check this guy out."
What is one of our members fucking Freddie PL? What's
No,
going on?
it's Jake Paul. Oh no, shit.
Mm.
No, yeah. Oh man, I miss Freddie PL. Hey guys.
Hey guys, Freddie PL playing Minecraft.
That's an old reference. Holy shit. The best reference. Oh man. All right. So, we have a few leads, or at least we have a few interesting things. All right. We do have toil stacks. Why this guy is shipping, or receiving potentially. Like we don't know if he's sending or receiving all these weird things. We also have some tapes, of course, to check out. If we can find somewhere that'll play a film reel, there's a film reel. And how much of this is, evidence? Because, I'm making a bit of an assumption here, but we're probably writing all this down in a police report, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Mhm.
If at some point you want something left off a police report, let me know. But right now, we're all playing it legit. You know what I mean? No one's gone off the books yet.
Question.
Yes.
Does the film reel, is it developed or is it not?
That's a good question. It is developed.
So can I take like my camera, invert the image, and like put it on the wall and just move it to the side slowly so you can see the image move?
That's
forward?
really smart. Holy shit! Like, props to you, dude. Like, I'm a film buff. I went to school for like studying film and stuff like that in high school, right? Like nothing past that, right? But like, I
Mhm.
love this shit. I wouldn't have even thought of that, and I don't know why I didn't think of that. That makes a lot of sense. That's really cool. Yes, absolutely, you can do that. So you're just gonna play it on like the wall or something in the kitchen?
Yeah, in the kitchen or that
or-
area.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So you're not gonna have any audio, obviously, and you're sort of like pulling it down instead of sideways.
Well, I mean,
Mm.
film, like actual film, doesn't have audio ingrained with it. It would be a
Well, you're
separate thing.
correct,
You'd have to have, like,
yes.
a CD.
And this is an old film, so it doesn't have anything written on it, and you're looking at a really old, really grainy film that's like choppy. We're probably looking at like I don't know, like 4 frames a second type of deal, or something like 10 frames a
But-
second. Well, it's as fast
think
as you
those-
pull it, but like, do you know what I mean? Like if you're pulling it at like normal human movement, if you pull it like for a normal film reel, it feels like everything's sped up. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But it's
I think
sorry.
I was watching this frame by frame.
Okay, you're watching like frame by frame.
Hey, it's a
Yeah.
muffin.
Oh, we
Sorry,
got a
And if
muffin.
someone wants to take a picture, hey. And if someone wants to take a picture of each frame, then they could just put it like in the app, so they could just watch the whole thing.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Um,
So we anyway, it's a bunch of officers. Meggetti, because your character is from Germany, you can recognize a German officer, or at least crewmen's uniforms.
Oh,
How
dear.
old are we talking here? Because if we're getting too old, anybody could recognize.
Well, they're in front of what looks to be an old boat, maybe like a submarine or something. And it's just sort of it's these men sort of like lining up. It looks to be a maiden voyage. People are saluting and sort of goofing somewhat as much as a German can goof, and then making their way onto the boat. And text comes up saying Germany's finest machine, of course in German, but since Maggotti's character can speak fluent German, he's able to translate the text. Germany's finest machine, and then it says the crew departs, again sort of loose translation, and then Godspeed, or whatever the German equivalent of that would be, Captain Nicola Ohlendorf and his crew. And on the inside of the canister for the film reel, there's a bunch of German names, but some of them have been worn away the time.
Can I Google the captain's name? See if anything comes up.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So let's see. Got to get the right page open here. The captain's name. He was an accomplished sort of soldier in a minor skirmishes between Germany and the Nordic Union. Sorry. And after that, he was mostly just notable for piloting an experimental submarine, or not piloting, but captaining, if you will, an experimental submarine called the U-13X, which many Germans have attributed as one of the greatest advancements of their time, although they've never said why. It was just whatever, was so good about this submarine. Apparently, a huge bonus to German science. And you can see, presumably this is the submarine, because he wasn't really on a submarine previous. But this submarine was launched in 1928.
He ever came back from his voyage?
He did, yes. But there's very little on him or any other crew member after the voyage. It just says, that they returned from a successful. What is it called when they just a patrol? It was just a patrol.
Can I ask the professor if he could read the names on the film reel?
Sure, yeah. I mean, you can read them. It's just they're German names, right? But I'll go ahead and say that he can translate like the ranks for you as well. Would that be okay? So these, sorry.
My idea is that I think this his grandfather or something like that.
Okay. Well, these are the names you have here, and their presumed ranks.
I want to go one by one and put the name of what's this guy's name again? I lost my notes. So
oh, that's fine.
Jeremy Rieger.
Yeah, and we'll put him in like some kind of like Find My Ancestor website.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like Family Tree or whatever.
Yeah, Family Tree.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you want to see if he's related to any of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Give me an intelligence roll. for that.
All right.
Nice.
Is 70. Yes.
Nice. Okay. Well, he is actually a descendant, not directly related, but sort of like a cousin descendant, if you will, of Rudolf Rotman.
The
I'm
doc.
awfully a son of a bitch.
I'm a bit of a son of a bitch.
Why
Sometimes.
did they have a doctor on a submarine?
There's a good question. I mean, I think most submarines have someone capable of sort of minor first aid. This
Yeah,
was
but
a
proper
big
doctor?
submarine, though.
Okay.
It had a crew of, what would you say, borrowed 30 something people?
Roundabout.
Around about 30 people, I'd say. Which is fair size.
So is it? We went through the boxes, right? I presume those squares on the right are boxes.
Yeah, those are the mess of boxes he has. You're correct.
Can I like try go through them, see like any more memorable, right?
Memorabilia.
Yeah. Cool.
So specifically, oh, I see what you mean. No, you don't find anything like that. Sorry.
We also still have the 3 VHS tapes.
Yeah, we don't have any way of watching them right now, though.
Okay.
Except
Except
true. Oh, I was about to say, is there a library?
you're just gonna plug it into your iPhone or something. I mean, you were really clever with the film reel, and I like that. But like, I don't know how you do that one.
It's a library. So
A library? Yeah, there is a library in town. Yeah.
Alright, because they might have a
Does-
VHS player.
Does Rieger not have a VHS player?
Not in this room. You may in one of the other rooms of the house. Which that's that's a good thought.
Question. This doesn't have a door. What the fuck?
Yes. It's supposed to be just like a closet. I just forgot to make an opening. Sorry.
Okay.
But you're right.
So
That's supposed
it's
to be a
just like a closet because it's next to the front door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we check the kitchen, the rest of the rooms.
Now
No,
I'm going to say something that's going to trigger borrowed. I don't know. Would you say that your character Stan also has some amount of OCD?
Not nearly as much as what I have.
Because
So-
you see this thing right here? That's the fridge.
Okay, but why though?
Yeah, I think most people would notice that being a bit off.
Like, if the rest of the counter, if the rest of this bullshit continued on in an L shape, that would be fine. But
Mm-hmm.
but
No.
why?
Because the plug is over there. The plug is over there.
Why wouldn't you have it in the L shape then? So that, like that could just be its own standalone dealio. No, let's just put it in the corner of the room. Put a shelf there, you idiot.
Yes. Already mad.
Well, I'm frustrated. I'm not mad because I rolled a fucking 9 and an 8. I can't be mad yet.
Yeah.
I rolled a 9.
Yeah. Oh, that's terrible color.
Everyone's someone did search check around like the whole entire place. Well, because what I'm trying to think of is if someone has a trapdoor,
You're looking for a trapdoor in this guy's
that's
house?
hidden. Yeah.
I can't get the F on it. It's fine. So where are we looking for a trapdoor? Just around the whole house?
It would make sense if it was like in this big area.
Okay. Give me a perception check. And if you can convince anyone else that there should... Holy shit. Okay, you guys got to stop cheating tonight, okay? There is no trapdoor in this room, no.
I
But
do
that's not
persuade
to say
people
your
that, hey,
stomping didn't sound like there was a bit of a hollow over here.
oh. Um, is the house like on a? Is it like on a brick foundation? Like I could go outside, I can see. Oh, look, the basement is
Oh no, it's
the house is brick.
it's a concrete foundation, but it's not raised enough for there if there was a basement to be a window.
There you go, Raffle.
Hmm.
I did his thing.
Discord?
No, I put an F on it.
Oh, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. It's beautiful. 'Cause I
What's,
knew that fridge
I'm-
was gonna trigger you. So
I moved the oddly placed fridge in the corner.
okay. And you first the pizza box is testing for meth, and now this. Or sorry, Molly. Okay. Give me a strength check to see if you can move this fridge. Because I think you're a little weak, boy, aren't you? A little
Tiny
wuss.
puppy.
Oh,
I
you're not that
pass.
weak. Yeah, you do pass. All right. Well, as you're moving this fridge, the whole thing collapses, and
Like down through the floor, or like
oh
the fridge
yes,
sparks
and
up?
you get pulled with it, and you drop about 4 feet.
Peace, bitch.
Yeah.
Do I drop next to the fridge or on the fridge?
You land sort of on it, roll off it. Roll 1d4 for your damage.
Oh,
Swear to God, if he rolls it.
Nice.
The door of the fridge became detached and fell on
Oh
you.
man. Well, thank God you had 11 health to begin with, so you're doing okay. You're doing fine, buddy.
no, I hit my fucking skull in the
Yeah,
corner of
you
the fucking
smashed your head
fridge.
off that. Well, you're in a very small. It's almost like a crawl space, like when people just have that little crap basement they shove stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're
Mhm.
looking at here.
So
So I'm guessing
is it like one of the ones where you have to crouch walk through it, or can you actually
Yes.
stand?
No, you got to crouch walk, and it's not too deep. There's a few. It's super dusty. There's a few like scattered papers and a few boxes, but most importantly, looking back up, you can tell that obviously there was supposed to be like a trap door that the fridge was put over top, but it had sat there a little too long and the weight was not perfect, and yeah, you just didn't move it the right way. You know what I mean? I'm sure there was like a trick that he'd figured out at some point to get it without knocking the whole thing down, but fortunately you weren't privy to it.
Bit too
Well,
late to
I'm
pick his
just
brain,
I'm
unless we
just
want to pick his brain.
I'm just sitting down here, just holding my cut from my forehead, drenched in blood.
Wait, we don't even have the doctor
But
here.
Metal.
I'm just yelling out from the hole, like, hey, are you fuckers going to help me or not?
Motherfucker, it's 4 foot deep. Help yourself.
I am bleeding from my head.
I'll leave that joke.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, men aren't supposed to do that, actually.
No. You should get that checked. The doctor's not here, though.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, jeez. All right. So, are you you hopping back out? You clambering up?
Where are you looking around at all
Well-
the boxes, Mr. Boxman?
I mean, you probably
Well,
have a flashlight, right?
Yeah, I have my phone, so I probably have a flashlight.
Well, I mean, I've probably got one of those fuck huge mag lights, because...
Yeah,
walk around the
that's fair.
woods.
Yeah. Do you want to toss it down on?
Does he have to roll to catch?
No, I'm not an asshole.
Well, I grab my t-shirt that's under my shirt, rip it up, and basically make a makeshift band-aid so I can stop the bleeding from my head.
Bandana. Just
Yep.
tie that shit off.
Mhm. and like clean the blood from my hands and make a way through the crawl space with my phone with a flashlight.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are you looking for here? Is anything and everything?
A way out, maybe some more evidence to the crime.
Okay. Give me. You don't really need a perception check. I think you're just sort of feeling around and stuff. You
Mhm.
you find like manacles, if you will. I forget. There's other terms for those. Bard would probably know them. Big Eddie probably knows. Manacles.
I'm not sure even what manacles are.
Manacles are the really big.
Like medieval
Essentially, they're
prison
like
chains.
handcuffs. Yeah, medieval handcuffs. The ones that they actually go, instead of just around your wrist, they go like halfway up your forearm, and they're used for like pinning somebody to the wall with.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's 3 sets of manacles sort of chained down here. Looking at the papers, they all seem to be invoices or transfer requests. Between it's all like sort of moving product essentially for Toil Snacks. So it looks like this guy was probably like working like distribution or logistics or something for this which you can Google it. Toil Snacks, just a small pastry warehouse distribution chain. So they they like
They
deliver.
probably enjoy these snacks.
Yeah, they would like deliver stuff to like the grocery stores and stuff like that. So
I just yelled to the group under the fucking floor. I found some shackles. Seems like he was into Edgar Allan Poe.
What? Shackles, though, I get. Yeah, shackles is a good word for them, for sure.
No, you don't. Edgar Allan Poe.
Well,
He made a
Telltale
short
Heart.
story about. No. He made a story where he lured this guy. He lured his enemy to his cellar.
Yeah, and he
to
kills him. It's Telltale
celebrate the
Heart.
New Year's Eve. No.
What?
It's different story.
Oh, is it?
Different short story. And yeah. And he brings him to the cellar, he gets him drunk, and then he shackles him. And then slowly he starts paving the wall.
He paints the
And
wall?
no, he puts bricks and just paints
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then he just lets him there to die. I forgot what was the name of the
Oh,
short story.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's one of my favorite Edgar Allan Poe short stories.
I'll have to check it out.
But
I like Poe, but I haven't read enough Poe. Do you know what I mean? I like Telltale Heart.
you gotta read. Everyone knows Telltale Heart. But you gotta read the rest of
And The Raven.
his short stories.
Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah.
I do. It's like Shakespeare. Like, I love Shakespeare, but I've only read 6 of his plays. I really need to get around to reading some of them more, but
I mean, hey, you got several on me. I think I've read 2. So.
well, I love Hamlet. I love Macbeth. Romeo and Juliet's pretty good. I love Taming. Is Taming the Shrew? The Merchant of Venice is very good. And then what was the last one I read? King Lear. Oh, King Lear is delicious. One of my old screen names was based off that. But anyway. Yes. So
yeah, I'm just searching through the unpressed, found some shekels. I'm just waiting for them to reply what they want to do.
mhm. Actually, give me a perception check. Just in case there's anything hidden amongst these. Just shit, you son of a bitch tonight, dude. It's crazy. You see, on one of these papers for Toil Snacks, it looks like a really old one. Like, I mean, he would have had to have brought it previous to moving here. It's probably about 10, 15 years old. This paper, but it is just a transfer. But there is a logo on it, the small, like almost like an insignia. in the small corner. That's just sort of 2 interlaced P's. I can just draw like a quick. I mean, I know you guys are clever and you know what that means, but it'd be something like this. You know, give or take. That's pretty rough, but yeah.
Oh, he's really
So
into
is one piece smaller than the other, or?
Well, it's supposed to be the same size, but I'm a derp.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I'll draw up a nice version for you guys later.
For me, that looks like 2 P's interchained.
Yes, that's what.
And there's
Yep.
shackles here.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, are they
I
shackles
just
or are they
looked it up.
manacles? Because there is a difference.
They are manacles, yes,
They're manacles. Well, I'm calling them shackles.
which
Because,
is reasonable.
yeah.
Something was down there at some point. Some
Oh,
bears, maybe.
Also, the name of the bears.
Bears.
The name of the short story that is cast of what's it? Amonte Dello. I put on Discord so you could see.
I'm sorry, you were saying about short story?
Yeah, example.
Hey, girl.
I found this cast
Oh,
of what's it?
okay. Yeah.
Castle.
No, cask.
Oh, cask.
Cask of Amontadillo.
Montedello.
Amontillado. That's what he wrote.
Words.
Anyways.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just gonna write that down for myself. I'll read that one. That does sound pretty good. And you know what? I don't
All right.
After
experience
seeing the
enough
name,
horror
that
stuff.
does sound slightly familiar, but
I don't experience enough horror for the amount of horror that I love. So I'm sure getting like some more like perspectives and some more ways of writing stuff would probably help. You know, me write these role playing things, give me more creative juice. So yeah, always
So
down for that.
I dig down where the shackles are, or the angels. I'm preparing myself to see a skeleton.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just digging
With what?
with my hands.
with his fingers.
Ew. It's gonna be painful. Strength roll. I mean, I'm sure like
Roll 1.
Borrow's a park
I
ranger.
pass.
I'm sure he has a shovel.
A shovel or a pick or
Yeah.
Well, I've been yelling and upping.
That's true. No one has replied to you. They're all just kind of staring down the hole like, wow, what an asshole.
he falls down the hole. We tell him to come back out. He's like, nah.
Okay. You don't find anything like that, but I'll go ahead and say you know, like scraps of like hair and like old skin and stuff like that. You just find some of that sort of around in the dirt, but you don't really find
Oh,
a body.
someone's been long time ago. Someone's been decomposed.
Well, there'd still be bones if they
There-
decomposed
yeah.
here.
There would still be
Oh,
bones.
no.
Probably
Yeah,
the
our
hair
I
would
mean
be
our
bones?
archaeologist will tell you
No.
there would be bones. Not a problem. Yeah, bones don't just
I
disappear.
hear the professor saying, I found some skin and bones. No skeletons.
What? Sorry.
Can you investigate?
Did you have fun with the
No
bag
bones.
down there?
I mean, unless it's your bone, but like.
well, I mean, he's
I mean-
bleeding from his head.
That's true. Yeah, he does have a head wound.
I do have a concussion.
Why is it always you with the concussions? Weren't you the one that fell off the top of the roof of the
Yeah.
last one? Oh my
Yep.
god. Yeah, and then you were pronounced legally dead by the group. They were just like, no, he's dead, just leave him.
Well, because he was, as far as we were concerned.
I
I
mean,
mean, no
that-
heart rate. Like,
That's true, yeah, that's true. All right. So, the other thing that we did forget to mention, hang on, sorry, let me. On this map here, the one just above, that little dirt trail heading into the wooded area. That was we found like it looks like tire tracks, but you know, like a vehicle had gone through there recently. So that is another thing that we forgot to mention at the beginning of the stream. We were trying to recollect all our data, put it in one spot. So we have a whole bunch of leads actually, things were going off. We'll just say, Origami, are you hopping out? Sorry, Jack Grimm. Are you gonna hop out of the hole?
Or I'll wait for 5 minutes to see if anyone responds. Anyone responds?
Well, I mean, I imagine one of us would poke our head down there, kind of wondering if you died. Because,
Yeah.
You flash a flashlight down the crawl space. I hiss. All
I
right,
moved
so
to
I
start
just
stealing back up the crawl space.
all right, so I just curse to myself and I go up the refrigerator and up to I climb out.
Okay.
Did you check what's inside the fridge?
Oh. No, we didn't, and it's down in the basement now.
Oh,
Hey,
But
while you're down there, open the fridge. Give me a beer.
I open the
get
fridge.
back down there.
It's mostly just like these sort of cow cuts and raw veg kind of stuff that this guy would have grown.
Was he not a raging alcoholic?
No, not
Living
this
alone
one.
and paranoid?
No.
I
Now,
check the
maybe
freezer.
living paranoid. But we haven't examined the rest of the house to determine that. But he wasn't an alcoholic, as far as you can see in the fridge.
Are you sure it's all cow cuts?
Ooh, there's a good thought. We'd have to get Mr. Fish and Game himself, Park Ranger Boy, down there. Unless our
Or I
intern
just toss him
has
up
a
some
kit.
meat.
Yeah, you can toss
To
up some
test
meat.
meat, that'd be difficult because meat looks like meat.
How would you even really test that unless you had a sample of human tissue to compare it against?
Exactly, meat.
Like, you could just say, like, okay, this isn't cow, but...
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, a human cut would be smaller.
Theoretically, it would depend on how small
Unless
or
you were
cutting
huge.
the cow pieces.
Yeah,
but I mean,
the
like,
bones are very different if there's a bone cut.
Oh, well, yeah, if we're talking about bones, but I mean, if you're just talking about, like...
Wait, we're just talking like there's slabs of meat in there. Oh.
Yeah, because I mean, like, you could
Other
say, oh,
question.
well, it's veal when it's actually, like, human thigh.
Yeah,
'cause,
yeah, that's true. Similar texture.
Question: does it still have like not the flesh, but like the skin on it?
No.
No skin. Okay. I just toss a frozen piece of meat up, onto the floor.
But wouldn't it
Not the
just be
floor, from the crawl
piece of
space.
meat, though? You're pulling it out of the fridge.
Yeah, they're not frozen. But that's fine. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't checked the frozen.
He
section either, or
doesn't.
it's just
Well, let's say he has a very small freezer, but there's like nothing in it really.
One of the fridges with the inbuilt tiny piece of shit freezer.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because the thing I don't know if you guys remember, we found out about Rieger here is he mostly sort of lives off the land. Like he's being self-sufficient rather. He's gone out of his way not to interact with the other people of the town. Which, you know, most people hate him for it. Or think he's weird anyway.
So, Mr. Fishing Games, what do you think? As I hand him over the piece of meat.
That's me.
Like, yeah, that'd probably be around the response that you would get. It would just be, you threw a steak at me. Okay.
Delicious. I call out from the crawl space.
All right. So, what are our big thoughts? You can get a call back actually, Grim. from the police department. Let's just say it's the deputy. You know, he's calling. He's exhausted now. He's just like, well, you know, we were up all night looking in the stuff the doctor was sending us from the lab. And now we just checked out those. Where'd you get these powders from? By the way, sorry, I didn't do it. I didn't do a deputy voice. That's the problem. I was just doing my own voice, and then I realized, no, I'm talking for the deputy. What's the deputy sound like? I don't know. Rudy's gonna be
We'll
playing.
find it
Right?
at a crime scene. We'll put in full reports when we get there.
We got it from Mama Luigi.
Mama Luigi, that's so good. All right. Well, the deputy says, "All right. Well, you know, I was send it to the lab boys. You know, what's the big city for in Minnesota? They have to have a capital.
Something with more than 1,000 population in Minnesota.
There's got to be a big city.
Apparently, it's St. Paul.
St. Paul. That sounds good. We sent it to the lab in St. Paul.
Oh, Minneapolis. Duh.
Oh, that's fine. We can use St. Paul. Send it to the lab in St. Paul. They're very curious where you got this, and they'd like you to, sort of pass the bag over to them after for more research. But it's some sort of advanced street drug. It's almost something similar to back in the day, like the Manson case and such. Some sort of hallucinogenic that makes people very susceptible. But both of those powders are the same.
Who would have gotten the ingredients to make this Manson drug?
Well, we don't know. We've never actually seen it before. It's just sort of reminds us of one of the sort of powerful hallucinogenics. But be careful. Like you haven't touched the stuff, right? Because they say it could potentially affect you if it was just going, on like your skin even. Might even just absorb it through your skin.
So what about the test results? Are the two powders the same?
Yes. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
All right. Well,
and everyone doubted Origami. They're all just like, this crazy fucker. He's checking pizza dust.
There was a blood test, I believe it did. A DNA result, was it?
Well, when did we do a blood test? You did fingerprints, I know that.
I thought we said that there was no blood left to test.
Oh, no, pretty much all his blood is gone, Rieger's blood, yeah, out of his body.
Maybe I'm confused with the fingerprints.
Yeah. Well, his fingers were not on the bags. So either they were planted there, possibility, or he was wearing gloves when handling them. Now, I'm sure somebody here knows how effective using gloves when handling things and whether or not you get fingerprints on them is. I don't. I just, I've always assumed that it's probably pretty good. As long as you're not manhandling the outside of the gloves. Probably don't have a lot.
So what does the record show of the fingerprints I sent them?
Oh, well, there were none on the bags.
No, not on the bags. Like earlier seen on the car.
Oh, right. Well, there's Pete Weathers' fingerprints on the car, which makes sense. Did I say there was another set of fingerprints on the car?
Yes, because of the Joyrider.
Ah, right. Yes. Yes, you're correct. They do not have anyone on file with those prints.
So there's so it might be some kids because no kids will have.
That's true. Kids normally don't.
Uh,
Although in the country, normally kids are brought in to get their fingerprints done as like a fun event. You know what I mean? You get to see the police. You get to learn kind of some of the things the police do, and they take your prints. I'm not sure if your fingerprints change for adolescence. Does anyone know?
I don't really think they do. They're
Yeah, I don't think so either. But that's actually a very
Especially-
interesting question.
especially because, like, in the case of fingerprints being like not really an option, there's also the when you're like first born, or at least not necessarily everywhere, but I've seen several occurrences of taking the baby's essentially feet prints.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
And I imagine that that would be comparable as long as there obviously wasn't a lot of tissue damage.
Right. That's interesting. But no, they don't have any fingerprints on file for the question mark ones from the Joyrider.
All right, thank you, Deputy. Everything will be on file and evidence will be on your desk.
Oh, well, you can put it on the sheriff's desk if you like. I don't mind. I'm going to bed soon. But and so he sort of hangs up the call.
Presumably everyone heard it because it was on speaker.
Yeah, naturally.
We heard it echoing out of the hole. Yes.
No, he's out of the hole now.
Yeah, it was out of the hole.
That's right.
So I will guess our next, well, after. Wait, would the sheriff have like a yellow tape?
Oh, you've taped out the house, yeah.
Okay, so it should be safe to leave this place.
Yeah. The question is, where are we
Alright.
going? Why?
Well, I want to go to, since the sheriff is kind of passing out on us, I would suggest that we should go to Mama Luigi's Pizzeria.
I thought you wanted to go to the library for the VHS.
That's up to you guys. I'm just waiting for the group to have an idea. So should we just go check the VHS, or should we just go investigate Mama Luigi's?
Was there nothing else suspicious in the house?
Well, there's a couple of the rooms, yeah. And then there's the tire tracks leading off into the woods. But it's entirely up to you guys. You know what I mean? Whether or not you think that's illegal. Because the fun thing is, when I write these mysteries, they're fairly open. I have a lot of incidents, a lot of little like clues and things. You never know how it's going to end up, and you never know how much of a time limit you're on. So, if you don't think something's super important to check out, it's okay to skip it. If you think it's okay to skip it, you know what I mean?
Well, we've got 2 vehicles. We can have a couple go to the library and watch the VHS, and a couple finish the house and start following the tracks
Absolutely.
off into bumfuck nowhere.
We can always split the party. Splitting the party is the best idea and the worst idea, always.
Cover more ground, less people to do things.
I asked if the professors could come with me because I don't know if this VHS tape has more German.
Ah, that's a good call.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Coptic.
Yep. Okay, so you two are going off to the library, and we're leaving the park ranger and the logger.
Sheriff.
Logger.
Is the sheriff not actually here? Is he?
Well, he went to bed, or like he's sleeping in, is essentially the canon.
Okay.
Which makes sense because we had just started the new morning. The sheriff went to bed, so that's why we grabbed the student.
Okay.
Or the pre-student, well, previously a student, I'd say.
Well, that's up to Midgety, Fox, and Origami, because we can either finish the house or we can take a break from the house and go to the VHS.
Yeah, it's up to you guys. Do you want to, like, who do we want to resolve first, essentially?
The house first, and then we can just overlay to the library.
Okay, so while you guys are on way to the library, We have Fox and Borrowed checking out the house. We have 3 more rooms, of course, and then the woods, should we be so inclined. The 2 rooms, like, we can just skim over because we got a ton of stuff already. The 2 rooms on the top, those are bedrooms. One of them is sort of kitted out. It's got a computer, which I assume you're going to be interested in at some point, and a just bunch of boxes with papers around it. It looks like an office, and it has a bed in it as well, but it's just like a mattress on the floor. The other bedroom has like a nicer bed, and it also has go ahead and I'm not going to say this is like that shocking, but it's this room has like a weird device in the center of it, and there's all these newspaper clippings of sort of odd events all over the room. Now, it's not like he's covered the walls with these, but like, he's got a couple clumped together with like pins in them in one spot. Sort of like how like maybe a detective might, if they were trying to track like a links between things. And they're all just sort of odd events, most of them relating to cattle mutilation, though. And then the final room is a bathroom. Just nice old bathroom. It's got a tub, mirror, sink.
Oh man, sure. God, there's like a chest out if there's like blood covered bathroom. Entire bathroom is covered in blood.
Oh, like with a black light or whatever they're called? Is it a black UV light anyway?
But to do that though, you would need a CSI kit though, because if it's been like mopped up with bleach, then you need to spray some other chemical on there before the UV will pick it up.
Yeah, and
that's true.
You guys could probably requisition one from the police station. Okay. So which of those 3 rooms are we most interested in?
Well, is the bathroom literally just a bathroom? It's not like obviously fucked, because
we'll say there's some stains in the toilet, or not the toilet, the tub. But like aside from that, it doesn't look too bad. It does have a medicine cabinet though.
Tub rings?
Yeah, like tub rings, yeah.
I mean, here we already know he had quite a bit of illicit drugs, so let's check the medicine cabinet.
Well, that's true, yeah. Okay, well, in the medicine cabinet, it's all standard stuff except for something that would require a medicine roll, or if you will, a medical science roll. So we just have our reporter, or our journalist, or whichever Fox decides to take on the name of. Then we have the park ranger. I'm not sure either are medical boys.
I've got a 60 in life science, but that's not really medical though. So,
well,
I got 10.
I
got 10 in medical.
I could maybe say half of your life science, because like, you could be like, I don't know, maybe not really.
If you have diabetes, just take insulin, or if you have another issue, you take something else.
True. Well, I mean, we can try this, and then if not, I mean, I can always, just take the stupid bottle and Google the name of it.
Yeah, you could absolutely do that, which is the great thing about the internet. Borrowed. Oh my god, you're actually like, you do realize, if I'm not saying, but if there was like a hostile encounter at some point, you're fucked.
Oh yeah,
like all your good rolls are
completely gone. But in the meantime, I'm having fun.
Oh man.
Ralph wake up. I'm in danger.
Yes, chuckles. I'm in danger.
We have. Okay. Let me to write this out for you. There. It is a bottle of clozapine.
Yeah, that's great.
Which, yeah, I mean, I figured you were going to Google it so you could tell us, because I think that's a lot more interesting than me just saying it. So you're revealing to the group. Now, again, you guys at all times can be in communication because you're on walkie-talkie, so anything Borod says here, the whole group can hear, even though two of you are in the car on the way to the library. But continue. Would you like to describe what your drug is?
Yes, so clozapine is used for treating schizophrenia and suicidal behaviors. It, yeah, so it decreases hallucinations and helps prevent suicide in people who are likely to try and harm themselves. It helps you think more clearly and positively about yourself, feel less nervous, and take part in everyday life. That's the WebMD thing of it. So I think it's fair to say that our friend Rieger here probably had it because he's a nutjob shut-in. Because if you need something that helps you not hallucinate and take part in everyday life.
Yeah, well, that's interesting.
Although, who is it prescribed to?
Oh my God, you're so good. It is him, but that is such a good question, and I'm some point I'm gonna pull that because I like that so much. But it is prescribed to. Oh, actually, it's not. I lied. It's prescribed to Judith Rieger. Sorry.
Interesting.
Who is that?
No, he had any sort of relations.
Well, I mean, you guys can just Google it. Should you so like. It was his wife.
Was as in deceased or was as in divorced?
Deceased.
My question is for Borrowed. Is the pill bottle full or is it half? Or is it used? Like you can see a couple of pills missing.
That is a good question.
It's about half empty.
All right, so half empty then.
So it's not planted on him.
Not necessarily. No.
So I would need like an intelligence roll if someone wanted to look a little deeper into Judith Rieger here. And I think it would be best for Fox, as she's sort of the internet whiz kid. You want to go ahead and give me your... I think she also has one of the highest intelligences. The professor...
I got a 65. Yeah.
I think the professor is pretty high as well. And our intern's quite smart, actually.
I was actually going to say that I wanted to look into her more, because maybe she's not actually dead.
Oh, that's good. Okay, yeah, so McGiddy is the smartest. Fact. By 5 points. Then after that, it goes Fox, and then the intern. And then I believe the... I think the doctor... Oh, the doctor's tied with the professor. We got a bunch of smarty pants. That's kind of cool.
So am I the stupidest with a 13?
No, the deputy, for sure. The deputy is
1365.
Is 10. But he's a chunky boy.
Like beefcake.
Oh yeah, he's...
Maybe that's the real reason why all of these fucking snack cakes are being imported.
Yeah. No, he's... Oh my god, like he's got like 13 HP, but he also like 15 strength, man. Shit. Is he our strongest? Who's no, the sheriff, 16 strength. Holy fuck. Sorry, that's interesting. I forgot about that. Okay, so Judith Rieger, on January 19th of 2012, she committed suicide Yeah.
Well, it's 2016 right now.
Correct.
Then, when was this prescription filled out? Does it match that time frame, or is it?
The prescription was filled out after. It was filled out a year ago.
Oh,
But
Did they find the body?
they did. Yeah, she committed suicide. The coroner's report you're able to pull up because you're super whiz at going through all sorts of channels on the internet. She shot herself 3 times and jumped out a hotel window.
Suicide. And she was shot 3 times.
Well, she shot herself
And-
3 times.
And jumped out of a window afterwards.
Yeah.
Talk about
She
over-
really wanted to die. Like, it wasn't enough to, like, fuck this gay earth. She wanted to go, like, right now.
I must go. My people need me.
That's right, yeah.
Can
She didn't
The
want to feel the
blogger-
fall, essentially.
can the blogger like bring up her what's it? Not the report when they look at her body, like the gunshot wounds. Where is it?
Okay. All 3 were in the chest. If
Like
she could
in
also,
the general.
Did
Sorry?
they find the
Oh.
firearm?
they did not find the firearm.
Do they know what caliber the firearm was?
Yes.
How big? Oh,
Okay.
Okay. Sorry,
Ah.
I was just waiting for Origami. But it was just a 9mm.
Anything in particular about it? Was it just what, hollow point, jacketed hollow point, full metal jacket? What was coming out of it?
What's it called? Just wanted to double check. It's specifically, it's a 9mm Hush round, but it's just a subsonic version. The 9mm.
All right. In the same vein,
Hmm.
if we haven't already taken it, I want to go see what ammunition is loaded into Rieger's suicide handgun.
Oh, that's cool. Yes, by all means, you go ahead and you're looking at it now. Park Ranger, again, this is what I love. I love figuring out characters through the story. Are you a gun nut? There's a difference between owning guns as a profession.
Not a gun nut, but definitely a gun enthusiast. Like, several are owned.
Okay.
So not like Super Texas, like I have 75 guns, but yeah, a dozen or so.
Okay. So you can tell what would a good role for that be? Looking at this gun, I would say forensics, but I know you don't have a lot of skill in that. Maybe just give me a perception check or firearms. Firearms would be great, I think. What do you think? Like knowing about
Yeah,
guns,
firearms.
that makes a lot of sense to me.
That's a 50-50.
It's a 50-50. This is where Borrowed fucks it and gets real mad.
Oh, probably, since you just fucking said that. Yes.
There she is.
Although, as a backup to this, though,
Mhm.
as a backup to that, I want to grab a pair of pliers and pull the actual round away from the cartridge.
Okay. Now,
Because, yeah, if it's subsonic, then it would probably just be loaded with.
I
Yes,
do want to
powder.
say you could have the blogger also look into it, but
True.
the blogger or whatever. Again, we'll figure out. For right now, I'm just calling you the blogger, Fox. Apologies, but the blogger is the only character in the party with no firearm skill. They have the baseline 20%. Just a little bit of fun fact there. However, if you wanted to, I'll give you a plus 10 to your skill because you've sort of looked at the gun from the case files of that night where Judith Rieger died. So you can go ahead and give me a 30% or less. See if you can tell anything correlating between the two guns.
Me, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's all down on you, Foxy. Nice. Nice. See, it feels good, doesn't it? Getting those rolls. You feel like a badass, and everyone's like, thank fuck. Well, yep. So you can tell it's firing the same caliber. It definitely fired the subsonic rounds. Now, again, the subsonic round, to people that don't know, just in case, there's anyone watching or somebody in current presence that isn't in the aware, they're not silent, but a subsonic round is infinitely quieter than a normal shot.
Because it's not supersonic, there is no actual crack to it, but there still is a bang because it still is an explosion.
Right. So someone in the room, maybe someone outside the house, they're still going to hear it, but someone like 6 blocks away isn't going to. Which is the problem with a normal gun, especially when you're in the country.
Vein, Ruffle,
Yes.
is the barrel on the handgun threaded?
Yes, it is. And
Okay.
yes, now there's no silencer or suppressor or what have you on the handgun, but it looks as if there was. Now that you guys are sort of looking into this. So if you're even more curious about Judith Rieger, you could maybe look into whether or not anything else happened on the night of her death. Be curious about that.
Yes. But I'm busy filling out my quickly.
No,
growing
that's
note
fine.
page.
All right, Foxy, go ahead and give me an intelligence roll. See what you. You know what? Yeah, give me an intelligence roll. I was gonna say you don't need to, but nicely done. There were actually 3 other suicides that night at the same hotel, no less. There's Otis Hallinger, there's Jeremy Wines, and Richard. I didn't give him a last name because I'm a dork. Richard, what's a good last name? Plum. I can pass you all
What
their
was the
names.
middle one? Something wines?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think because it was wines, my brain went to a fruit for plum, but it is what it is.
Mhm.
There were
Plum
3
wine.
other suicides on that night. Same hotel. All of them shot themselves. The same caliber.
In other words, whoever investigated this was a lazy fuck.
Well, Judith was the only one to jump out of a window, though.
Where's the hotel located?
There's a good question. Located in, well, it could be any town, USA. Where would you guys like it to be?
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. I like that a lot. It's close by.
And it's fucking huge.
Right. Oops. I assume partially you're saying that because you don't want to go out of state.
Well,
very
that
clever.
and also, I mean, like, if she was gonna kill herself, why would she bother going super duper far away? Like,
That's fair.
she'd probably just rent some. Well, I mean, if it's in the middle of Minneapolis, which is the biggest city, then they would probably be a rather nicer hotel. Like, it wouldn't just be some motel on the side of the road.
We'll say it's a Hotel Bravada, the name of it. It is a nice hotel though, yeah. Perhaps too nice. Because Judith Rieger is said to just have been a social worker.
The room numbers of the suicides match the list we found earlier?
Oh,
Ah.
no, they don't, but that's very, very cool, Megeddy. They do not, though.
Okay.
They were all on the same floor. Sort of just a few doors apart.
What exactly did you say was under the floor where Origami's character found?
So there were manacles. There were 3 sets of manacles. I can spell that for you. Not that I don't think you can spell manacles, just I know I don't have the best way of pronouncing words.
Just
So
Did you say there was like skin and stuff down there too?
little bits of hair and like skin, but like really old skin. And there were also just a bunch of like papers that seemed like invoices or transfer requests for the toil I wrote down.
Yes, toil.
Yeah, Toil Snacks Company. And one of those, a very old one, had that PP on it.
I guess I'm kind of thinking like, who does that belong to, basically, and if maybe he kept someone down there.
Oh, the PP, the similar, or the Toil Snacks stuff.
Well, I mean like the hair and stuff. That was
Oh,
down
yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yep, grab that for DNA testing.
Okay. Well, we'll put it in bags because the actual police aren't here, unfortunately. We'll bag it for them for sure. Our doctor and our intern are gonna have a field day with that. So, there any? Oh, I guess we could check for a correlation between the suicides. See if any of those people were doing something. I assume Fox would have checked into that, because she is a conspiracy nut. But sorry.
Oh, something else that I was wanting to say is,
Yeah.
for some reason, I want to look up like where they were all buried at too.
Oh, that's cool. And you know what, Fox? I love that. We all come from different perspectives, and we all have different thoughts on things. And as a DM, if I see you taking a lot of interest in like something, even if I didn't have a plan for it, I will make a plan for it. You know what I mean? Just because I like to do that. I think it's very cool, and it makes it very organic for me, because then I also don't know the end of the story exactly. I don't know where we're headed. But so just shout if I'm talking too much, because I will talk a lot, and that's just apologies. I've been DMing for too long. I'm trying to keep things rolling, so I do just talk way too damn much. But yes, where they were all buried. Well, Judith Rieger was buried in her hometown of, let's go ahead and say St. Paul. And the rest of them were apparently buried in Minneapolis. Sorry, Minneapolis.
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 Mini Apple.
Right.
Although, what Ralph, to be fair, doesn't know is that St. Paul is like literally connected to Minneapolis. Like Minneapolis like grew around St. Paul.
Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. Well, I kind of like that. I was hoping St. Paul was close, but I didn't want to Google it, because I did like the idea that they were all sort of buried nearby. But she was brought closer to home because of Rieger's wishes, like Jeremy Rieger.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyway, what were you asking? Oh, did they have any correlation? Yes. Yeah, they were apparently attending some sort of like a seminar together.
What kind of seminar?
It was the actual seminar title was let me write it down for you. There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then I would want to look
Dude.
up who was running that.
Oh, like the company that put it on?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to take a guess?
Toyo?
Oh, you betcha! Someone gets a cookie. Yeah, Toil Snacks put it on.
Were these people all working for Toyo?
No, the only person working for it was Otis Hallinger. Jeremy Wines, Richard Plum were working for unrelated things. Judith Rieger, again, was a social worker. I'll go ahead and we can just throw out their jobs. Jeremy Wines was a garbage man, and Richard Plum worked in the mail, like the post office, sorry.
Why would they attend a seminar for expanded business practices for the modern mind?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Oh, I don't know.
Unless there was a cover-up.
Question: was there anybody that we know of,
Mhm.
such as the owner of Mama Luigi's there?
Okay. Oh, I see. No. But that's definitely an interesting thing. No. No one else that you know of was in attendance.
Give me a moment here, Ruffle, and if you will check Discord.
Mm. Do you remember when this was? It was just about a bear.
There you go. Like Minneapolis and St. Paul are that close together.
Let me open this on my phone real quick, so I don't have to, interrupt my screen. Oh, that's not what you meant. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, that's really cool. That's perfect. I love that. I love that.
Like they're not like literally on top of each other, but they're damn near.
So let's say it's about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive to Sleepy Pines. You say? And yeah. And Sleepy Pines is just a small town within like a county. So very cool. Now the thing is, interesting thing about law enforcement, which I'm sure some of you guys know, but again, it's good to just sort of toss things out there in case you didn't. In America, a police officer of a city has jurisdiction within his city. In a county situation, a sheriff and his deputy, and the officers under him, they can work within the whole county, which can be a larger area because it's just a whole bunch of small towns sort of put together, and they'll usually be like tiny little bits of people scattered around. Now, if you're crossing the state line, you can't follow a criminal past the state line. Is that not correct, Bard?
Yeah, to get past the state line, unless like there's immediate threat to life and limb, then you have to get a hold of the feds for that.
Right. So, if say you're following someone who sells drugs and they go past the state line, you have to get in contact with the FBI, or similar. You know what I mean?
Or have the police in the other state meet you at the border crossing.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's sort of a really crazy bureaucracy, which it makes a lot of sense in most cases. But then, now, how does it work if, for example, our little sheriff and crew wanted to take a trip to Minneapolis? You know what? I've doomed
Minneapolis.
myself. Minneapolis.
There you go.
So how would that work, Bard?
Well, I mean, you could go there. It's just you wouldn't be going there underneath your own jurisdiction. You could just be going there as like a
Right.
like an executive decision for requesting evidence.
So yeah, you would have to go there and then go to the police in charge of that city and say, I would like to look into this case that you've already closed, and kind of sound like an asshole,
Mhm.
right? So it's kind of cool. If we ever do want to take a trip to Minneapolis, we could do that as official police work, but that's not to say the police are going to allow us to do our job. So if we do ever take a trip that way for clues or such, and we call them and we can't get enough information, we
Well, especially
might.
because it seems like one of the cops was paid off, because really convenient that 4 people died in the same hotel on the same floor with the same caliber and the same night. Like, awfully convenient suicides there, but nah, it's all just suicides. No
Well,
connection.
it's written in the police report for Otis Hallinger that it was a potential suicide pact.
Where were the other victims' gunshots wounds at? Because Judith was shot in the chest area. Where are the others?
Okay. Well, Otis and Jeremy shot themselves up through the chin, sort of like in the, I forget what you call that, but the soft part of your chin. They shot up through the brain in bed when they were laying down, and Richard Plum was just shot himself, presumably, a few times in the face.
A few times.
Yeah, in the bathroom, specifically in the shower. If
Did he have any connections to evidence that could lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton?
Hillary Clinton, no, but that's well.
It's just it's awfully convenient whenever these people decide to commit suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head twice.
Well, I mean, that's a funny thing. Are you suggesting that there may, Richard Plum, the gentleman who is the most questionable in his suicide procedure, are you suggesting that maybe there would be a link to him and some political candidate?
Political, if not...
Is that something?
Well, not necessarily political, but somebody with a higher power in the area, because if you're going to ruin somebody's political career, or you're going to try and drag their business down, or something like that, because Richard Plum, as we went over, was in the mail service. And if you got your hands on the wrong mail, going to the wrong person, you could find the wrong information.
Okay, I like that. The question is, though, would our conspiracy nut, would she be looking down those paths? Would she be making these connections? What do you think, Fox?
Is the tinfoil a crinkling?
The question is, how tinfoily are you feeling?
Or is it just a mafia?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Now we're not going to force you into Googling anything you don't want to Google. You know what I mean? God forbid you can go to jail for that. But
well, just like in real life, I mean, I'm definitely on FBI watch lists. I've looked up how to make a fucking a peroxide bomb for like office buildings, because I read something about that in the newspaper, and I also looked up how to make methamphetamine for Payday 2.
Oh yeah, right. Because you want the check. Yeah, you can get yourself on FBI watch list so easy.
Oh, I'm on so many watch lists.
But it's an honest question. It's okay if you don't think your character would make those connections. But if you think your character would, and would be trying to probe every little aspect of these people, always let us know. Always give show. Always be like, yes, that's something I want to look for.
And if we overstep the bounds of insisting that your character would do it, then kind of say stop. Because if we're pushing and it's like, actually, I wouldn't do that, then I'm just being an asshole.
Basically, I think she wants to like jump to as many conclusions as possible. Essentially, like.
Oh, you're in the right group.
You'll fit in well here. You don't need the tinfoil.
That's right. Dude, if oh fuck, we need a set of matching tinfoil hats. Anyway, all right. Well, yes, Richard Plum, you find on some sort of like a small newspaper. Again, mostly just conspiracy nut things. Like those like little magazines you see that's like fucking Nixon was in cahoots with Bigfoot and shit like that, right? But anyway, in one of these magazines, you do manage to find that Richard Plum was sort of called out, just some post office worker for potentially going through people's mail.
Mail fraud.
Yeah, he was in trouble for a little bit of mail fraud at some point, and there was sort of a rumor going around that he had the dirt on sort of an up and coming political candidate in the city of Minneapolis. Hey, yeah, and we do have a name there. Just for some reason, I know the last name, but I forgot. Okay, Rick Gruber, by the way.
That son of a bitch.
Yeah, Rick Gruber. Rick was
Was
just.
he elected though?
Well, he eventually ended up. Yes, he's currently mayor of Minneapolis. He's a senator well, he was from New York. He went to Minneapolis for almost sort of no reason, but ended up being the mayor there. And
When was he elected?
when was he elected?
When was he put into office proper?
3 years ago.
So he was put into office in
2013. Yeah.
Does he have any connections to Toyol?
No. None that you can find.
No sponsors.
Wait. So I know that because Majidi asked about it already, but the hotel paperwork didn't say that these rooms were connected, but were any of Rick Gruber's hotel room papers in Rieger's basement, were any of them to the same hotel?
Oh, yes. Yes. Just one. It looks to you, now that you're more like, what the heck, Rick Gruber, hotel rooms, whatever. Now you're more like, oh, Rick Gruber, hotel rooms, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? So you're looking at it, and it appears to be hotel rooms crossing America, going state by state in many of the major cities. And the ones in Minnesota are circled in red.
So motherfuckers on the campaign trail. The big one.
I have 2 questions.
Yep.
I can't remember the name of the dead guy in the house, but like, was it established like what he did for work?
Yes, he is, or he was, rather, is correct to say. Oh no, it was not established. No, you're correct.
No, as far as the locals knew, he was a nut job.
Right.
It was suspected, though, that he was doing some kind of delivery thing. That was a rumor that was...
Right, that he was delivering for some company. Yeah, he was always moving stuff in his van.
Oh, and the other question I have is for that seminar, has any of them, have they done more of the seminar since the suicides?
Oh, that's a very good question. I like that a lot. Okay. Wow, that's very clever, Fox. There were many, it looks as if twice a year, Toil Snacks held this seminar in different hotels throughout America. It would usually be about twice a year, and sort of a grab bag of people. You know what I mean? Just random people would show up. Seemingly, anyway. However,
Cross-referencing suicides with the hotel conclusion.
after these suicides, there wasn't another one.
Are these same hotels that they were holding seminars in every 2 years that our man Gruber's going to?
No.
Because they're all across the U.S., you said.
That's true. No.
Not a one matches up.
Well, like, just, a couple, but, like, it doesn't seem like there's a pattern. But yeah, the Hotel Bravada is sort of the one that sticks out to you because it's the one where these events happen that you're sort of really paying attention to. And looking more into Toil Snacks because you're curious about it. It looks like they closed a lot of their warehouses down following the suicides. Now, they didn't state a reason, but the sort of president of Toil Snacks said, business has been slow and we haven't been making as much this year type of deal, so we have to close many of our warehouses.
Is there any close by, like one in Minneapolis proper?
Yes, there is.
Is it still active or is it closed?
It's still active. And if you go check the boxes, you can see they're all coming. They're to or from the Minneapolis Toil Snacks warehouse.
Question: would the warehouse have their own logo of boxes? Like, would they have their cardboard box have a logo on them?
Well, it's just the Toil Snacks logo.
Yeah, like on the back of it in small print, it would say, like manufactured in Minnesota.
Borrow, can you go check to see if the boxes says that?
Well, that's what Arfel said that the boxes in Jeremy's house, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about? Yeah. So Jeremy's boxes are confirmed going back and forth betwixt the two.
No, I mean the cardboard boxes here.
Yeah, those ones. They're in Jeremy's house right now.
Yeah, we're still in his house, and the ones in his house are either going to be shipped back to the warehouse or have come to the warehouse. Or come from the warehouse.
Okay, so he could probably work at that warehouse.
Yeah. Which again, it's like, an hour and a half, 2-hour drive, so it's not unreasonable that he would drive there, come back, maybe do that like 4 times a week or something.
A bit of a side subject.
Yes.
/ when we get the coroner around to Jeremy, want to have a check of stomach and intestinal contents, see if we can find any traces of the clozapine.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Because, especially because, okay, his, she died in 2012. The prescription was filled last year, but you're not supposed to have prescriptions just sitting around. So it could have potentially made the treatment part of it nullified or more severe.
Yeah, that's true, right? They do break
if you have
down.
too much of something, then it can actually exacerbate the problem. That actually happened to my aunt. She was on lithium for bipolar, and one of her new psychiatrists tripled her dosage without telling her.
Oh shit! So
Yeah,
she
so
went
she
nuts.
she ended up in a psych ward for like 3 weeks.
Jeez. So what you're suggesting here is that Rieger killed himself.
What I'm suggesting here is that maybe Rieger was having hallucinations, and that's why he killed himself, because the medication wasn't working. Because if it was filled last year and it's only half empty, he's probably one of those idiots where, oh, I'll just take it when I feel down.
And that does stand the reason if we had a whole bunch of hallucinogenics in his house.
Hmm.
So,
And I mean, okay, cool, you're wearing gloves, but that doesn't mean you can prevent 100% of it, because if you have it in one place, you pick up the bag, you go get rid of the bag,
yeah.
could still be some left in the air because it's a powder.
Yeah, for sure. If you're not moving it carefully, yeah.
Yep, you aerosolized part of it, now you're fucked.
Okay. Very cool.
You said the prescription was for his wife, though. Can he still get that refilled if she's considered dead?
I mean, not legally. As far as I know, you can't legally do that.
No.
Does that mean the person who filled it is suspect?
Yeah?
Yeah, we can actually look at that, see where it was filled, because if the person is deceased, then you couldn't just like walk into the local Bartels and be like, yeah, I need this filled. We're gonna need some ID here, bud.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So it was filled in Minneapolis. Go figure. Well, let's say St. Paul, because I like that. Just gotta ram here. Okay. Anyways, filled in St. Paul at a small pharmacy. Let's call it. What's a good name for a pharmacy?
Newman's.
Bayers.
It's normally just like the street name, isn't it?
True.
Yeah. I like Newman's though. Newman's Pharmacy.
Well, I mean, like, street names can be whatever. I mean, if I go
It could be
a
Newman
couple
Street.
miles up the road, I have a fucking street that's called Goblin.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so it was filled in St. Paul at Newman's Pharmacy.
All right, well, we got somebody to ask questions to. Well, I guess we're kind of winding down on that side panel, but there still is the question of the quote-unquote strange device in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm. I think maybe, just maybe, call it here for tonight. Because we have a lot of information to digest. I think we have a
How long
lot
would
that...
it take for the VHSs?
Oh, true. Yeah, I could tell you what are on the VHSs.
Because yeah, we could do the VHS and then pick up the next session with the weird thingy.
And hopefully, we have a bit of notes going around. So next time, because I mean, I'm hoping next time maybe we can get Dino, maybe Rudy if he's around. You know what I mean? But maybe we won't have some of you. I'm hoping we can just have a big group, because it seems like with this game, we're able to do more people, because there's sort of, it's more thinky than action. Now, I'm not saying we aren't going to have action, but I'm saying, like, right now, we're sort of less people clambering to all roll the same thing at the same time, and more a lot of people saying, oh, you roll this and you do this, and working as like a team trying to solve the mystery, which is really cool.
Less of a clusterfuck.
It's way less of a clusterfuck, which is nice. DM always loves it when he doesn't have 10 people at the same time. Like, I'm happy if 10 people want to say something at the same time, but it does make it more difficult, and people do get more like easily frustrated. So I think we're doing good. I think we could definitely get Zelphus, Dino, Rudy as well in here, and just have a few more voices bouncing around. But yeah, we'll do the tapes, and then we'll talk after the tapes. So these are dated back about 10 years. Okay. And they're recordings. There's 3 of them. They're all about a week apart. Okay. It's shot on a really crappy camcorder. It looks like it was just somebody out hiking in the woods. And the first part of the first tape Okay, the tapes are about 10 minutes long. The first 5 minutes of the first tape, I'll give you a couple dates if you like. Let's go, June 6th, June 11th, and June 13th were the tapes. And again, 10 years ago, so let's say like 2016 or 2006, sorry.
So it was June what?
Now, I'll just pass it over to you. Just because I know someone's going to ask me, so I might as well write it all down now before I done and forgot. So those are the dates of the tapes, each about 10 minutes long, give or take. But they're shot on an old camcorder. The first 5 minutes of the first tape, it's two boys going in the wood. So they're sort of late high schoolish, and it looks like they're trying to sort of recreate the Blair Witch Project. You know what I mean? There's like, oh, we're going in the woods to check out, this thing, and we're hunting for, the Wei Chuge of this tribe, type of deal, right? And they were all having fun, and they come across like a mock series of sticks in a tree that's being hung up by some fishing wire, and they're sort of freaking out about it. And that's the first 5 minutes. It is cut much in the same way that there are jump cuts in the Blair Witch Project, but it seems like they're literally doing cuts by just they hit stop record and then they hit record again, and you can visibly hear the one boy say cut in the one scene. The second half of the first tape is these boys actually stumbling upon some Native Americans and sort of talking to them. And these Native Americans, we're not talking about like, a whole bunch, or just like 3, maybe 4 of them, just sort of sitting around a campfire. They're sort of in modern day clothes. Like, it's not like, you know what I mean? They're like all dressed up in special garb, but they're talking, and the characters, the 2 boys watching this, don't understand what they're saying, but they think it's really cool. He's like, oh, keep recording it. This is really cool. So they record it, and it's really shitty zoom ins. The second tape shows the boys, well, from first person, if you will, following these Native Americans through a trail, and you're hearing them whispering, saying like, aren't we like getting too far out? We don't even know where we are anymore. Oh, this is really cool. This will be great for the movie. It's like, well, we're talking over it. Well, we're just gonna like dub over it. Like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. The final tape is them coming up to a cave where you hear chanting coming from the Native Americans inside the cave, and eventually, you hear some screaming. 2 of the Native Americans run out, and there is sort of the last few frames a figure, sort of quite tall, coming out of the cave. It's hard to make out what it is, but it looks large, sort of thin-ish, hairy. Could be a person, could be an animal, but it is very hard to see. It is sort of a haunting image, though. I'm gonna need you guys to roll stress for me, because
Stress.
yeah,
I pass.
you pass.
I pass as well.
Okay.
65.
Well, Maggette, you don't take any stress from that because you passed and you're skeptical and you're just like, fucking whatever. Origami, you're gonna take D6 for me.
I got some chills on my back.
That's right. You're just like, holy shit, terrifying. Nice. So you're not too bad.
Oh,
You're only
this
down
is-
2
this is
stress in
spooky.
total, actually.
Mm.
Nice. So there you go. That was our tapes.
Mm, mm. I want to say if the guy who's dead, does he have any kids? Was it him when he was younger, or was it just some tapes he found?
Okay. That's a good question. how would you guys determine that information?
Oh,
Looking at the local populace.
wait.
Like,
First of all, can they?
It's the only markings on the tape are just they say the dates. Like they're just on labels.
Can I ask? Can I ask McGilly's character if he knows about accent?
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got social science. He would definitely be able to place an accent. Yeah, I like that.
Will he know? Will he know if the accents of kids are they local? Are they like somewhere else of some other state? Because of course you get your Texan accent, and you got New Yorker's accent. So on and so forth.
Okay. Yeah, give me a social science roll there, McGiddy. I like that a lot. Good call, Origami. Perfect. Yeah, they sound like they're like local boys. Like
What
they-
about the Native Americans? Can we determine their language? Or translate it even?
I mean, you rolled pretty good on that. I'm gonna go ahead and say that you don't need to roll again or nothing. You could definitely narrow it down, and just doing a little bit of what's that thing called when you're looking for like a confirmation bias, if you will. But you could definitely say that one of the tribes they sound very similar to is the Athabascan. And
question: do they have a resort basically for them?
they used to.
reservation.
There used to be a reserve near here, but it's been bought up in the last 5 years or so. They've relocated further west.
I would guess that Barrow's character has like an old map of the native reserve area, so maybe we could find like a cave or something
Oh
that's
hell yeah!
in
There's gonna be records of that crap.
Yeah.
At the ranger station, because if somebody says they found X at Y place, well,
Mm-hmm.
right. So possibly could find the location of the what's it?
cave.
Cave. Yeah.
Yeah.
In this book, there's like over 50 caves.
Well, let me ask you a few questions here. So we're trying to determine where the cave is. You can go ahead and that's so good. I love that. I love that. You can find out there's a cave about 20 minutes, sort of northwest of Sleepy Pines. That's
20 minutes by car or by foot? Because by foot, it's only a couple miles.
It's by
Okay.
car. Yeah, 20 minutes by car. You do have to go sort of off road eventually, and then you're hiking. But
Wow.
it's about 20. Let's say it's 20-minute drive and then a 30-minute hike from the last part of the road.
All right, so you're probably looking at like 10-ish miles into the woods.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like these would probably not be super duper maintained roads. Hell, they might just be like gravel. So
Now,
you're not going to be flying down those at 70.
would the park ranger know who purchased the reserve? Because I feel like he would have access to that information.
There'd probably be records, because if it used to be like whatever, used to be park land and then was given as to the reserve and then was sold again, then you have to make sure that they don't encroach on park land.
Okay. So it was bought out in 2011 by, anyone want to guess?
The fucking snack cakes.
Yeah, Toil Snacks.
Pauses. The pieces are falling in their place.
Yeah. Now, the chanting that the Athabascans were doing. I'm gonna say that Maggette, if he spent, an hour or two in front of the computer or in his office, whatever, he could probably end up translating it. But that does mean his character is going to be locked out for a little bit. I mean, he could probably even do it in the library, given like a decent computer.
Yeah, I could just take a recording on his phone and just do it from there.
Yeah, I guess.
And go to his studies and try to find it.
Okay. So Again, you're going to be sort of unavailable for an hour or two. Maybe this doesn't really matter to the group. I'm not sure what the time frame is going to end up being. I'm not sure where people are going to head, but yes, the chanting is rough translation, sort of push back the beast, leave the body, push back the beast, Waichuga.
Hmm.
I explored. Well, I just recorded that.
Oh, sorry, Waichuga.
Can, can I just record that chant on my phone?
Okay, how would you do now? It's going to be very distorted if you do that, right? Because you're playing it back on a VHS tape, and then you're recording a speaker with your phone. There's going to be like hella distortion.
AV cables, my boy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm okay if he's doing that, but there's not a lot of. I mean, would the library computer have AV cables that can hook up to a computer to record?
No,
Right.
I would doubt it.
Well, theoretically, because what if you want to use the computer instead of popping in a VHS? Like you want to use the computer to load up something on the TV, watch.
Okay.
But theoretically,
I mean,
Wait, can I run the tape through just like a like almost like a big cassette player? Because isn't tape just what was it, magnets?
magnetic film.
yeah.
ma- so I could just take all of that. Or, oh wait, difficult.
Yeah, I guess, right? That's one
To
way
be
of doing
perfectly
it.
honest, I don't even know how the hell they got audio onto tapes. Like
Like
that
in actual like
befuddles
real
me.
life.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
Wait,
it befuddles me. Like it's just like pictures, duh. But
Borrow. You know how some TVs have an basically a plug that could just plug it in with a jack, and basically it outputs audio.
Mhm.
Does the television has that? Because I know, well, you know what I mean, right?
Well, depending on the TV, because some of them have like audio outs for if you want to hook it up to like a surround sound system,
Mhm.
but it would really be dependent because usually, like at least with the more modern TVs, they only have audio ins. But if it's a library, they're not exactly working with a 65-inch flat screen. It's usually hand me down, so maybe.
Well, if you want to, I guess you could give me an intelligence roll and see if you can get something to work in the library or jury rig something or other. You might end up damaging the library gear, but whatever.
I just buy some cables that.
Yeah, I mean, you could just go out and buy some cables. That's for sure. I'll just give you that then. You just
So
go.
I'll go to the thriving Best was it Best Buy?
Oh, not here.
Right
You're going to Jack's Hardware.
You're going to the thrift store or
That's
some
right.
shit.
Yeah.
You go to fucking Ace Hardware. That's the best you got.
That's right. Yeah. Jack's
I
Hardware.
Not even
I
Ace.
was,
No.
Fucking off-brand.
Yeah.
I was gonna make a joke of Radio Shack.
Oh yeah.
Well.
That's. Oh jeez.
Oh, I got it.
Nice. Cool. So you do. You have you've converted it to a nice little MP3. If you really want to be special, you could do FLAC, but
No.
you got a nice.
He can only
little...
do FLAC if he can name off what the hell FLAC stands for.
Okay, so he's got an MP3 of the chanting, which it is a little muffled because again it's a shitty camcorder. But
is it MP3 or an MP4?
No, it's an MP3.
MP3.
Yeah.
It's MP3 volume.
Okay. Well, I think that's good for tonight. Then we got tons to think about. I do encourage you guys. I don't know when we'll be able to play next. I know when my next day off is, but I already have stuff written down, and today wasn't the day off or nothing like that. So we can, let's see. Let me look at my schedule. It can't be like the next 2 days because I'm working really early, so I'm gonna be exhausted. We could do. Actually, maybe Sunday night. If we want to do it early. Or we
What do you
could.
mean by early?
Oh, which is better for you, late or early, Megadi?
Doesn't really matter, I guess. Early.
Is it better to start
Probably
around
later.
this time?
Probably later, but doesn't really matter as long as I know
In advance, eh?
in advance. Yeah.
Like
Okay.
relative to us, because this is late for us and early for you.
Yeah.
But if it was early for us, like depending on how early, it could be late for you.
Okay. Well, Sunday I work early, but I get home early. But then Monday I work late. So we could do like late Sunday then. So we could aim for like 11 p.m. EST or even 12. But 11's a little easier for me. But 11 p.m. EST Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Here.
Because that's in like 2
I'm good.
days.
Mhm.
So, but it's up to you guys. We'll talk about it. But I was gonna say I do recommend just, you know, if you have notes, sharing the notes with the group in the Discord, or just sort of talking about. I can even we have an RPG text channel, just popping things back and forth to each other, just so you're refreshed, because you know, the more cool information we get, the easier it is for everyone to forget everything and then go, oh fuck, what were we doing? You know what I mean? Or
Mm.
and I'm not perfect, you know what I mean? I'm trying to write new stuff all the time, so there's a good chance, you know, I sort of forget a little bit in the wayside. I try not to. I try and catch you guys up on everything, but all right, cool. Well, I will I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow anyway, in some form, and then hopefully the day after we can continue our investigation.
Ye-
All right.